Hi, and welcome to the latest video in this series about this amazing new book, The Potent Power of Menopause, a truly culturally diverse set of perspectives and women from around the world talking about menopause, this inevitable phase in women's lives. And today I'm joined by the fabulous Fiona Whitfield, and she is a freedom from diet facilitator. Welcome, Fiona. Thank you so much. I managed to get that whole thing out without falling over it again.
Well done. Yeah, it's quite a mouthful, isn't it? Thank you for having me, Kate. It's really good to talk to you.
Oh, no, it's fabulous that you're here with us. As I say, you're one of the contributors into this amazing book, and we've all got a different perspective, and yours is called Fuck It in Your 50s, which, quite frankly, if I opened the book, that would be the first chapter I'd go to, because I like a bit of profanity. I like a bit of swearing.
Yeah. It's known as, one of my trainers used to call it the middle finger years. I was like, oh yeah, absolutely.
So could you give us a little bit of information about your chapter and how that kind of fits in with how you got to this point?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you go back and read anybody's chapters, you see something different, don't you? And I think even in my own, but I kind of feel it's like my bumbling from pre-menopause to post-menopause. It was a case of, this is what not to do in your menopause, really. But it's about how things come up to bite you in the bum, really. All of the old beliefs and conditioning and ways that you thought you should be doing things, they come up for, as you know, a little gift to say, do you still want to do this or do you not? And so there's the opportunity to deal with it on not just a physiological, but a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual angle, which in so much of that is not talked about, is it? So it's kind of like how I got from pre-menopause, PM, to post-menopause, and all of my failings along the way.
And I think that most of us do have failings along the way. It's an incredible journey that we go on through this transition, and we would be superhuman not to fall over ourselves on many occasions as we go through it, because we're changing and developing.
Well, really, that is where the learning is, isn't it? I kind of joke about failings, and I still quite like to do things where I allow myself to fail, because I think we live in a society where failing is deemed wrong, but no, it's not. It's like, you try something, it doesn't work, you do it again. Let's talk about the light bulb and how that was invented. It wasn't done the first time, was it? Why do we put this pressure on ourselves to think that we have to do it right perfectly the first time?
Yeah, and I think that point about the first time is a great one, because as you said at the beginning there, the things that you have always done suddenly come up, and you get that kind of moment of, well, is this the way that I actually wish to continue with this?
Completely that. And that is a really a really key point. But you can miss it if you are still going on that sort of, I've got to do it this way, this Superwoman syndrome, this term that I use. But to think that you've got to white knuckle it and just grin and bear it, even if you are taking medication, there's still those other aspects of your menopausal journey. If you're not dealing with those, then you're kind of missing an opportunity in a way.
Yeah, and I think the sort of breadth of change in menopause that you're hinting at there is all encompassing. It's to coin a word, holistic, isn't it? I mean, it's all of you that's going through this. It changes every part of you. And I read something that you posted yesterday that said, as the veil of estrogen falls, and that's how it feels, as eventually after that massive crazy scramble that is all of perimenopause and menopause. And then as you enter into your postmenopause, and quite frankly, my postmenopause was crazier than my all the other two phases. But once it starts to settle down, then it is like the veil has been lifted, really.
Absolutely. And you know, that really was it for me as well. I'm glad it was the same for you. Maybe different for other people. Of course, we've all got our own journey. It's a fingerprint, isn't it? We're all going to experience it in a somewhat different way. There will be similarities, but you know, it's a bit like going down the rapids when you're going through it sometimes, or afterwards, as you say. And I'm still having things because of course you're changed forever, and how I used to do things 10 years ago is not how I handle them now. And I think that's that permission piece, and just noticing, having compassion for yourself, being kind is so important.
It really is. I mean, that, and also as we're saying here, that desire not to hold yourself into the restrictions of behaviours that maybe are societal but are also implemented by ourselves. We create a grid that we don't want to step out of, but it's having that sort of flexibility or openness to change is really, really important.
Absolutely. I think I used to think I was in control of my life. That illusion. and then various things, but menopause being one of the big ones, and the last couple of years being another big one. It's just like, hello, you are not in control. And you know, we're often spinning plates trying to be in control, or that illusion of control. And yeah, an opportunity to go, oh, okay, is this right for me to still do it like this? How can I do it differently in a way that really is kinder to me and honors me? And this idea, you know, that we have to do everything, and the pressure, you quite rightly say, Kate, that we put on ourselves. Wow. Yeah,
and that pressure, there's a point in menopause where you think to yourself, this is me doing this to me, this is not somebody else doing, this is me, this is my choice to pressure myself in this way, and it's not healthy anymore.
Yeah, and society kind of pushes that agenda as well, I think.
It's there for stoking the fire, isn't
it?
Yeah,
You will go out to work, and you will look after kids and elderly parents and a relationship and the home and we're like, you know, one of my friends who's going through it said, I am spinning plates, and I was like, shall we have a talk?
Absolutely. So before we finish today, what kind of gem could you give to those people watching? What kind of thing could you tell us from fuck it in your 50s that will, you know, draw us to a close in this video? So what amazing thing can you give us there, Fiona?
Well, my top tip is to find a nice warm cave and go and live in it for about 10 years. You know, obviously we can't do that. It really is. I used to call myself the self-care queen, and I thought I knew what self-care was. And actually, like, wow, I so didn't know what self-care was. So it is about boundaries. It really is. One of my things I love to do is to write everything out. Look at what you're doing and come with a big red pen and go, not doing that anymore, not doing that anymore. What is right for you to be doing in a way that nourishes and brings you joy? Because let's not face it, let's not forget the joy, because that is so key. And can you delegate and, you know, delete things in your life? What are you doing that you really are being a bit of a martyr to, if I dare say it? You know, what are you doing that you can just go, fuck that, I'm not doing that anymore, and I'm putting me first? Because that's really what it's all about. Time to be a bit selfish.
Oh my gosh, and it's not being selfish.
Exactly, it's not.
It's about putting yourself first.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's amazing. I love all of that. I love the red pen. That's great. I'm going to go and get one now. So please subscribe. Ensure that you, if you subscribe, you'll get all these videos as they come out, and there's a whole series of them. They're all fantastic and they're all amazing. And it's all about this new book, The Potent Power of Menopause. See you soon. And thank you, Fiona.
Thanks, Kate.
Bye.